News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Okay. The Google decision to bust it up today. They didn't decide to bust it up. What they decided was that it is an illegal monopoly, which means it will be busted up and it must be busted up. How is going to be the next part of another trial that is going to be very lengthy, the reports say. I'm excited about this. Now, by the way, in the last segment, I mentioned the Ma Bell and the Baby Bells. That's exactly correct. And I couldn't recall the company. We've had some people call in. I appreciate that. But the monopoly position of the Bell system, this in the U.S. was ended. Some of this stuff I looked up online. Some of these things. Monopoly was the Bell system was ended on January 8th of '82. I told you I was young. I was 9, but I remember my parents explaining it to me. Why it was a big deal. By a consent decree providing that AT&T Corporation, that's what they were actually called, had been initially proposed by AT&T relinquish control of the Bell operating companies, which had provided local telephone service in the U.S. AT&T would then continue to be a provider of long-distance service, while now the independent regional Bell operating companies, which is what they were called, regional Bell operating companies, the Baby Bells, and it says, nicknamed the Baby Bells, would provide local service, no longer be directly supplied with equipment from AT&T and subsidiary Western Electric. There you go. Okay? So that's what this is. Same thing. In my rudimentary, I'm not an expert, although I'm on the radio, which means this is brain surgery. It literally is literal brain surgery, what I do. People's lives, everything hangs in the balance on what I say every moment. And you know that, and I know that. Let's just be honest. But my question for you on this landmark decision today, how do you feel about Google being declared a monopoly? And what would you like to see Google forced to do in light of this decision? I would like to see them totally broken up. And just like the Baby Bells were forced. And what other companies would you like to see declare a monopoly? For me, Amazon. They are cruel and punishing to non-compliers. Do you know what they do? I've talked to you about these Wall Street Journal pieces, investigatory pieces that are massive. Listen to this. You cannot, if you decide to sell your product at a lower rate because you're trying to actually compete, they will remove you and from listing anything. They will crush you. And if you get removed from them or deplatformed by them, quote unquote, you will no longer be able to sell anything near the amount of volume you would sell on Amazon. They also, so they literally, and by the way, they tell you, you have to raise your prices. And you go, but I can't, my competitor goes less. You have to raise your prices or you're off. That will destroy a company. They do that. They also make it hard for you to see how to get the best deal. They make it hard for you. They are a total monopoly of online sales and a total monopoly of book sales in this country. And they must be broken up too. I despise them. I want you to understand too, and listen, I know Google hates us, hates our values, hates who we vote for, seeks to dispirit and destroy us in our voting. And same thing with Amazon. So I would like to see them broken up, Google, tremendously. And I would like to see their monopoly be destroyed in online search engines. More on the decision here in a sec, but my questions again, chime in right now. We have more than enough time. We got 5 minutes to put you on, have your reaction. So call in right now so you can go on right now. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How do you feel about Google being declared a monopoly? What would you like to see Google forced to do in light of the decision? And what other companies would you like to see declared a monopoly? 800-288-9227 is our number, 800-288-WBAP. Anybody that sells anything on Amazon can tell you how bad it is. It's worse than I'm even describing it to you. I'm telling you, it's that bad. They tell you what you will set the price for and when you will set it and how you will present it, or your business will be destroyed. Yeah, I mean, that's just all there is. There's no question about this. And when you search, for example, on Google, why they're so horrific and must be destroyed, do you understand that 90% of all online searches are Google? I mean, let that sink in. 90% of every online search is Google. And listen to this. On smartphones, it's 95% of searches on smartphones. This is insane domination. I wonder if this is actually worse than AT&T was. 800-288-WBAP is our number. So here's more info. The ruling paves the way for a trial on remedies, Reuters reports today, in the potential breakup of Alphabet. Google paid $26.3 billion 3 years ago to maintain search engine dominance, the judge noted. Senator Klobuchar, a liberal Democrat from Minnesota, highlights bipartisan support for antitrust enforcement against big tech, which is good. Google violated the antitrust law. I highlighted a handful of lines in this story today from Reuters. Google violated the antitrust law, spending billions of dollars to create an illegal monopoly and become the world's default search engine. The first big win for federal authorities taken on big tech and their market dominance. The second trial will determine the potential fixes, possibly including a breakup of Google parent Alphabet, which would change the landscape of the online advertising world that Google has dominated for years. By the way, that's another thing you need to know. In my business, we talk about multiple things, and our clients talk about multiple things. Online search engines, online searches, and what's it called? Where you can, what is it called? I can't remember what it's called. I know what the answer is, but where you can put define a search area, you can put, it's called geofencing. That's it. Geofencing, all that stuff, that's discussed because we do that along with a radio advertising campaign. We have all that same knowledge in how to get the best of both worlds with advertising with us. I know that because I do a lot of meetings with these things, and I talk to our salespeople a lot, and they're great people. They're not as good as I am, but they're good people. Got it? Good. I'm just that good. I'm amazing. And I'm also very modest, as you know. Continuing on, it's also green light now, this decision, the Reuters says it's a green light to aggressive United States antitrust enforcers in prosecuting big tech. Again, I agree with that too. The court reaches this conclusion, quote, Google is a monopolist and it has acted as one to maintain its monopoly, says the judge said today in his writings. Google controls 90% of the online search market, 95% of smartphones. So there's no question. This is so bad, so Orwellian, and so onerous. I also want to do this. I want to tell you, coming up next, I don't have a mouse in my pocket. I have a lot of great stuff to get into next. I have a warning for Trump, and I have some bad news for Trump, but I also have some good news. And so we're going to talk about that. We also have from the Politico today that Trump advisors are trying to get him back on the disciplined messaging, and they're panicking, obviously, because of how things are going with the cackler, Kamala Harris. But there's still some good news to share in all this, what looks like very dark news for Republicans as of late. Our number, of course, 800-288-WBAP. Trey in Duncanville. Trey, welcome to WBAP.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I was going to say I would love to see Google broken up. It'd be like Standard Oil. It was busted up in 1913, and the company tripled in value within a year after it was busted. So I hope they do bust it. That would be great.
Yeah, and what is the main reason why you think they're a monopoly? What causes you to believe that, and that they need to be broken up?
Well, I don't know if they need to be broken up. I'm just saying from an economic standpoint. I look at history, and I'm saying Standard Oil was broken up into 4 different companies, and John D. Rockefeller's net worth tripled in a year. So I'm saying
it's not going to hurt them. You're saying Standard Oil, in your opinion,
it'll benefit them immensely. Yes, their value will. The net shareholder value will triple. It tripled when Standard Oil was broken into pieces. And I'm saying to you, history repeats itself.
Do you use Google?
Yes.
I despise them and I seek to never use them. I use DuckDuckGo, and they're not much better, to be honest with you. They're just as bad in most of the searches, almost just as bad. But you can't trace it. They can't track you. So I use DuckDuckGo probably 90% of the time, at least in my home. I only use Google when I'm like, there's a little issue here or there or something like that. I'll just, give into those whats. Anyways, you can put the app on your phone, and it's not much better, but it's at least not tracking you and all that kind of stuff. So that's just a thought. And if there's other search engines that people want to recommend, then I'm down with that too. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Thank you, Trey, for your call, by the way. 800-288-9227. Also coming up at 10:18. Trump advisors are trying to get him back on track. I don't think it's going very well. And there's good news, though, and bad news from CNN's pollster, Harry Enton. I'll share the good news and the bad. All that coming up next. Chris Kroc Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. Well, there's some not so good news. There's some good news, and I'll share it all with you. But basically, what we're having here is a very serious concern about Trump, the campaign, if they can actually win, and where we're headed, because it's looking horrible right now. And most everybody admits that Kamala's in a honeymoon phase that should end soon. But she is intentionally hiding from the press. She literally said she finally said, I'm going to do my first interview, but it's not going to be till like next month, which is just unbelievable. It's somewhere around 23 days since she announced, and she still hasn't done an interview or press conference. But Trump is also self-imploding. One of my friends, Eric Erickson, who, look, I don't agree with him on everything, but he's got a brilliant political mind. And he says Wisconsin is another reminder that I don't think that MAGA appreciates how tired the rest of us are having to deal with their continuing mythologizing. That's it. Mythologizing. The rest of us are tired of having to deal with their continued mythologizing of 2020 as a stolen election. Voters are reacting pretty savagely. And I agree. And I think that every moment that anybody dwells on elections being stolen or cheating is a moment we're losing. Absolutely. It's like when cackling Kamala chided a person during a rally the other day. She said, about being Killer Kamala. They're calling her remember Genocide Joe? Now it's Killer Kamala. I love that. I love it when they eat their own. Anyway, they interrupted her speech. She met with them before the speech at the rally, and then they interrupted her again. It's appeasing the radicals doesn't stop. 150 groups have signed up to protest at the DNC next week. So here we are. And but she looked at that person and said that was protesting and said, what you're doing is whatever you're saying, the more you say it and interrupt me is the more likely that you're going to get Trump to win this election. And Trump needs to realize that every time he talks about cheating or things being cheated or a vote being overturned or whatever like that, he's giving Kamala more points. Nobody wants to hear that. Everybody wants to hear about what you did and what you're going to do for us. And it's all about the economy and all about illegal immigration. And that's it. And that's how you win. This is a joke how easy this should be. And yet it's not right now. But there is some polling that I want to share with you as well. And that is CNN Harry Enton, and it came to me by way of, he's their top pollster. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is Dana Perino shared three things. At this time, and I got to remember this from my own mind, I heard it earlier today. At this time, Trump is higher right now at this point in his election cycle. He is higher in enthusiasm and I believe approval. He is a popularity. He is more popular today than he was at this time in 2016 when he won, and he was at this time in 2020. That's huge. Okay. And another thing is the polling where he is nationally and in these swing states. If it holds right now, he's going to win. If you look at the polling in 2020 and in 2016 and how it actually played out, and you take the exact numbers that came in, but yet the numbers are of now, he will win. Because the margin on the polls is not typically at what happens physically at the voting booth, right? So they're saying if you take today's numbers and compare them to 2016 and 2020, he will actually win these places that are close. And there's a third one, and I can't remember what it was exactly. It'll come to me in a second, but they're all good. About how, it doesn't look good right now, but I'm telling you, based on 2020 and 2016, these numbers and the enthusiasm and the approval or the popularity rate are actually very good for him. However, she is gaining ground. She has gained ground. And she is hiding, and that is winning. And I wanted to share with you one of the things that Dana Perino said. She said that this is that she, Kamala, and her campaign is a Jenga campaign. And what is Jenga? We all know what it is. But how does that play out in a Kamala campaign? And that's where I think the crap hits the fan for her. And that's what I've told you about a collapse, I believe, that's coming possibly in a wide margin victory that I projected last week. On one day at least. Other days I feel like we're not going to win. I'll get into that next at 10:33 on the Chris Crock Show. And then I want to hear from you, though. How likely do you think Trump's going to lose in November? How likely do you think it is that Trump's going to lose in November? 800-288-WBAP. Chime in right now. We'll put you on, and we'll coming up next at 10:33. How likely will Trump actually lose, do you think, this November? Is it likely at all? How likely? 800-288-9227 is our number. 800-288-9227. Lines wide open on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. That's 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Well, we have a lot more good stuff to get in here on. Let's play a little Trump and Elon Musk montage.
The thing that they really is making them angry is what Kamala and Biden have allowed to happen to the economy. It's a disaster with inflation. She's incompetent and he's incompetent. And frankly, I think that she's more incompetent than he is. And that's saying something because he's not too good. She's a radical left lunatic. And if she's going to be our president, very quickly, you're not going to have a country anymore. And she'll go back to all of the things that she believes in. She believes in defunding the police. She believes in no fracking.
They're rewriting history and making Kamala sound like a moderate when in fact she is far left.
Amen to that. Here's one more that is a good one to hear.
The stupid threats coming from a stupid face. Illegal immigration saved my life. You're right, but it had to be at that exact angle. I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day. You cannot do it. And I told him things that what I do, and he said, no way. And I said, way. I saw a picture of her on Time magazine today. She looks like the most beautiful actress ever to live. It was a drawing. And actually, she looked very much like our great First Lady, Melania, is if something happens with this election, which would be a horror show, we'll meet the next time in Venezuela because it'll be a far safer place to meet than our country.
Okay, here's the thing. We are losing, really, across the board right now, if you look at most of the polling, and it's very scary. I did promise to tell you what a Jenga campaign is, according to Fox News' Dana Perino, a former George W. Bush White House communications director, a spokesperson, if you will, right? Okay. A Jenga campaign, as it sounds like the game, you can move little things here. Okay, we're going to take that out here, take that out here. But eventually, when you pull that your next straw out there, whatever it's called, the next little Jenga block thing, it collapses because it's built on a faulty foundation. And that's what this is, because she will have to answer questions. And if she doesn't answer them in ways that are clear, and if she can't back up why she's abandoning every single position she's ever stood for, then it collapses. And eventually this will collapse. And that's what I said in the last, I didn't say it as artfully, but last week I said, there was a day where I said, I see us winning by a wide margin, or I said, I didn't say wide. I said, but a good margin, meaning not 1 or 2, but maybe 3 or 4 points or something where you can't be cheated out of, etc. And that's how we must win, in a way that we can't cheat out of it. They can't cheat their way out of it, which means more than 100,000 people in a state, need to win by 100,000 plus votes in these critical states like Pennsylvania. All right. But my question for you is, how likely do you think Trump is going to lose in November? Right now, it looks like it's pretty likely. But this campaign is being supported in unbelievable, breathtaking, and horrific ways by the media, which is just so sad and sickening. It's like it's state media, like we're in North Korea or Russia, or it's Pravda, like we're in Iran or Venezuela. How likely is Trump going to lose in November right now from what you're seeing? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. My buddy Eric Erickson writing today in one of his columns, blowout lead that Trump had a month ago is at best a tie, at worst a slight Harris lead. This from Axios today. Inside Trump's slump since the assassination attempt. What we're hearing, Axios says, Republican sources close to Trump tell us he realizes the need to bring new focus to a message that could be meandering and self-indulgent. But it's Trump. Quote, Trump is struggling to get past his anger, a top Republican source tells us. Trump aides know he won't change, so they're focusing on not on the need for him to change, but the need to adapt his message to win, a source says. But he has to convince himself to leave the other garbage behind. Agreed. This is going to scare you. Florida is now in play. Florida. Remember the Democrat Party about 6-8 months ago said they literally have abandoned Florida? There was a statement from the guy, one of the people in Florida's Democrat Party, or maybe it was a national Democrat thing, but they're like, Florida, we're out. There's no chance. They're not even going to try to compete. Well, now Vice President Kamala Harris leads in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, according to the latest New York Times Siena College poll. In July, New York Times Siena, Pennsylvania, it showed Trump way higher with favorability compared to Biden, but now it shows around the opposite. Now, Trump, earlier it said Trump had a favorable view, 45%, while 52 had an unfavorable view, a -7 rating. But Harris now was at 42 favorable and 55 unfavorable, -13. But now half of likely voters view Harris favorable, 48% unfavorably. She has a point. Whoa. She went from a -13 net rating to a positive 2-point rating. You see this? She's floating in air. She's walking on water now. She's the new Obama with a female body. So Florida, they have 30 electoral votes. It's a close contest. Even Fox News says today between Trump and Harris in Florida. 30 electoral votes. That'll cost you the election unequivocally right there. 47% is Trump's rating. And Kamala is at 42, within 5 points. There you go. Do you know what else? What happened? Our number, by the way, chime in right now. Line's wide open for you. We got 4 minutes. You can take we can put you on anytime. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. How likely do you think Trump is going to actually lose in November? Look at this. Kamala Harris now denies a Time magazine interview request. They like put a magazine picture of her up, glowing, not a picture, but a drawing, because she literally refused to even sit down with a photo shoot. And she also refused to do an interview with him. And they still worshipped her. They still worshipped her. Since they couldn't get a picture, they had a charcoal drawing of her on the cover. Meanwhile, they had another picture of Trump that they put on the like a drawing or a graphic, and it showed him like melting or something. It was like a horrible. So the comparison on the front cover is unbelievable, isn't it? She's glowing, he's melting. He'll sit with them, she won't sit with him. See this? Now, the Trump PAC, a Trump PAC, is now doing a $100 million blitz they plan on, and it's going to lead up into Labor Day, and it's going to go during the Democrat convention. And it is going to go in the 7 Rust Belt and Sun Belt states likely to determine the outcome of the election. It's going to focus on defining Harris as a soft-on-crime radical who is too dangerous for the White House. Americans might vote for a liberal, but they won't vote for a lunatic, is what they're kind of saying behind the scenes about that. And that's what they need to get out there. Just destroy her with their own words, her own actions. That's all you got to do. This is not hard. Also, show America what this is, what the green revolution is that she's bringing. Here's the real green energy transition, according to the Wall Street Journal editorial board. Automaker layoffs. Brand new today, Stellantis will now lay off. It's one of the American car makers. Stellantis will lay off 2,450 production workers in Michigan as they replace their classic Ram trucks with EVs. There's your green energy transition. You're fired. And you can get rehired at jobs, not with EVs. They're firing everything. They need about a third of the people to work there. But they will rehire you. Other companies may rehire you, but you'll get about 60% or 70% of the salary you got at GM. There you go. There's your future. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. Chime in right now, y'all. Okay, also, I have some more for you on this, too. I have, the scrubbing of J.D. Vance's word awards on Wikipedia. And the look at this. CBS News, a tweet on Trump versus Kamala for the same freaking policy that she stole from him. The difference is profound. This is what we're up against. All that next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Okay, the other things I wanted to share with you. CBS News has a side-by-side. Well, actually, no. This is done by Byron Donalds, conservative Republican congressman from Florida. Posted less than 2 months apart. This is what mainstream media bias looks like in real time. CBS News. It says former President Trump vowed to stop taxing tips would cost the federal government up to $250 billion over 10 years, according to a nonpartisan watchdog group. Okay, so they attack in their tweet his no tax on tips, right? And then it says this 2 months later. Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position saying she'll fight to end taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. So when he does it, he's attacked, saying it'll lead to a deficit. When she does it, it's reported as, wow, look at her, look what she's doing. You see this? This is what we face. And this is not new news to you or to me. But it's to show you this guy is not disciplined, and we can't afford to lose because he cannot afford to be off his game for 1 second. And he's been off his game for weeks now. It's time to get on your thing and do it, because you're going to lose it for us if you don't. Also, Wikipedia literally took away all of J.D. Vance's awards. In July, it showed he had Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Navy and Marine Corps Sea Service Deployment Ribbon. Now, it just shows Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. Nothing else. He's been defrocked. All of his awards are gone because Wikipedia doesn't like them. They don't want him looking good. Removed. Those are bad awards. It's stolen valor. It's not Walls who's got stolen valor. No, it's J.D. Vance. No, he never went to combat. No, it was Tim Walz. Tim Walz is a freaking war hero, man. He took bullets in the neck. He's a Purple Heart and a Bronze Silver. He won the Silver Star. He even won the Flying Cross. Yes. Did you know he was on SEAL Team 6? He shot the one that took out Hussein. What's his name? He was the one who took out Bin Laden. Yeah, he took out Bin Laden. You know he did. He's a freaking war hero. He ripped Bin Laden's head and crapped down his throat, then shot him and put him in the dirt nap, in the sea nap. Everybody knows these things. J.D. Vance was wiping toilets in some base in Alabama. He never went to Iraq. We all know that. I learned it on Wikipedia and Google. And from the CBS News. In the meantime, Harris-sponsored Google ads suggest publishers are on her side. Google. Of course. All right, let's go to your call. How likely do you think Trump is going to actually lose in November as of right now? Unfortunately, I have to say it's much more greater than it's ever been in this cycle, this campaign so far. 3 lines open, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Michelle in Fate County, I believe it says. You are on WBAP. What do you got?
I was just, how you doing? I was going to say the reason why I think Trump did good as a president, when he was in the office the first time. But as me being a black woman, I just decided not to vote for him this time because of the antics and the bigots and the stuff that are waiting for this man to come in office so they can wrap up their hatred and all of they like I was telling your producer one day, I watched the video where an older white man slapped a young black man at a Trump rally. Just because Trump said, get him out of here, and the older white man walked up and he slapped him. And that, that just let me know that you got people out here that actually believe that this man is a bigot and he's a racist. And they believe that's what he stands for, and which I do not. But that's the only reason why I'm not going to vote for him this time, because I don't want those people to. I want to keep those people silent and hidden, just like they are.
Do you understand that Kamala is against wants to defund the police? She wants to abolish ICE. She wants to abolish the detention facilities for illegals. She doesn't want them to be illegal. She wants to give them free health care that we would pay for, and amnesty. And do you understand that she wants to end any private insurance? If you like your insurance plan, you cannot keep it. She'll take away all that and turn it into government health care, where you might have to wait a year you'll be in a waiting list for like a year to get your hip replacement, and you're in all that writhing pain. And if you're rich, like in Canada, you can fly here to get that done right away, but it won't be the case anymore. And Britain's, their system is a government run, and it's a failure. It goes on and on and on. And she's for the Green New Deal and for guaranteed federal jobs for everybody, all these things that'll cripple and she's against drilling and fracking and stuff. So are you prepared to pay tremendous amounts and continued high inflation for all these things and in exchange for not voting for Trump?
like I said, I understand what you're saying.
It's all good. It's all good. So your answer is yes. You want more inflation, and
yes.
Okay, you'll take it. Okay, got it. Thank you. Wow, Ray in Grand Prairie, you're on BAP. Hello.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
At this moment, I think Trump could lose the presidential race.
Agreed.
When he was president, he did a lot of extremely good things for the country. However, I am now so tired of listening to him call other people's names, and I'm so tired of listening to him going on and on about how the election was stolen. I want to know what he's going to do for the country now for 25 to 28. I want to know how he's going to do it. I don't want him to irrigate a desert by draining an ocean. So let me give you an example. He's talking now about taxing tips for people who are in
No, not taxing tips. Kamala liked the idea so much that she stole it.
Right. That's right. Yes.
We have 15 seconds, so we have 15 seconds, and I got to hang up.
Okay, it's a good thing for right now, but the Social Security benefits for those people that are retiring, they're going to be based on a lower income, and they're no longer going to have the money to survive in their old age. So if they tax them at the higher rate
Gotta go. Thank you so much, though. Appreciate you. All right, well, there you go. But that woman was powerful, that black woman. She's like, yes, I'll take high inflation. I'll take destruction of this country because of one supposed racial incident, which I've not ever seen, but I'll check it out if it's true. What if it's not even true? You never know. The media will pretend it's true, even if it's not. So I don't trust them, and I don't trust, but who knows? I will look into that.